Welcome to the Worship Probs podcast, where we aim to entertain, encourage, and equip worship and tech leaders all around the world. Look, we all know that serving in worship and production is great, but the problems, those are real. Thanks for joining us as we dive into today's episode with our host, Brian Tabor.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 343 of the Worship Probs podcast. I'm so glad you're here today. This one is going to hit hard. I can promise you're going to love it. And I love that you're here. I love that you listen each week. I'm so grateful. Today, you're going to hit those 3 E's. You're going to experience all of them: entertain, encourage, and equip. We're going to hit them hard today. I can promise you that. If you could do me a favor, jump over to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star rating and a really nice review. I would be incredibly grateful. Well, today, man, it's going to be an awesome episode. You will be glad you listened. I promise you that. Got some prayer concerns for you, epic prayer concerns, and huge thanks to Allie for her work on last week's episode, which was the best of prayer concerns. We went in the old Wayback Machine and pulled some really old ones for you. The podcast has been going since 2018. So again, today is episode 343. So if you're new to the podcast, go back and listen to some of those old episodes. We've been having a blast since 2018, and we're really grateful that you listen each week. But today, man, I have a conversation with the one and only Steven Curtis Chapman. 50 number one hits, the only Christian artist to ever be inducted into a member of the Grand Ole Opry, the BMI Icon Award. Like, this dude. And anyway, there's so much I could say about him, but he's hitting the road this fall. It's 25 years since his album Speechless, and if that's an album you've never listened to by chance, do yourself a favor, listen to it. 7 number ones from that album alone, including the title track Speechless and Dive. And man, it's just an incredible album. One of my all-time favorites. So I hope you'll take a listen to that, and you're going to enjoy my conversation with Steven Curtis Chapman. Well, as we're getting rolling here today, let me tell you about our amazing friends at Planning Center. This episode of the Worship Probs podcast is brought to you by Planning Center, an all-in-one software that can help you organize every facet of your ministry, connect with your people, and help your people stay connected to each other. Among the many ways Planning Center can help you do that is through task management. In Planning Center, you can create detailed tasks, organize to-do lists, and even collaborate on those tasks with other team members in real time. Do you have recurring events and projects with long to-do lists? Make a task list template to save time. Have regular tasks you need help keeping up with? Set your tasks to automatically repeat at an interval of your choosing. And the best part is that you can create tasks from absolutely anywhere in Planning Center using the toolbar. You'll find your Tasks tab in Planning Center Home, the place you see all the important updates happening across your account. To learn more and get started today, visit planningcenter.com or click the link in our bio. Guys, it's going to be a great 2025. It's already been great, and we are really pumped. Kim and I will be back at Experience Conference this year, September 2nd through the 5th in Orlando. It happens at Walt Disney World at the Disney Coronado Springs Resort. And guys, the artist roster is unbelievable. Incredible speakers. So the main sessions are going to be awesome, but the breakouts, bring your team, because there are breakouts. There are more breakouts at this conference than I've ever seen at a conference. There's even pre-conference stuff for sound and vocals and songwriting. And so here's what I want you to do. There's a link in our bio. At the very top of that campsite link is a link for registering for Experience Conference. You can find all the details there. What you can also find is a discount code, PROBS25. Use the discount code PROBS25. It's going to save you big on each registration. And this is a price you can't get without that code anymore. PROBS25. Use that code and join us in September at Experience Conference, September 2nd through the 5th. We're going to record a live podcast with people in the room. We do that as a workshop at the conference. So I'll be letting you know when we get that scheduled so that you can circle that on your calendars for those of you who are coming. And I hope you're all coming because I'd love to see you there. I'll be teaching another breakout as well on planning worship sets that unlock engagement in your congregation. And we could all use more engagement. So I'll be excited to see you there. The artist roster for Experience Conference, man. Charity Gale, Josh Baldwin, David Leonard, Brian and Jen Johnson, Matt Marr. I'm only scratching the surface, man. There's an unbelievable artist roster. And the speakers, friends of the podcast like Ian Simpkins, our main man, Scott Longyear. The main sessions are going to be absolute fire. So plan to join us September 2nd through the 5th at Experience Conference in Orlando. It's going to be awesome. Well, fam, do you know what time it is? It's time for prayer concerns. Well, if you're new to the podcast, prayer concerns, like every church has a response device. Maybe it's the little card in the seat back, or it's live stream chat, or Facebook stream comments, or YouTube, wherever it is. We want to be in touch with our congregations. We want to know how we can pray for them. And sometimes they do actually use that section to give us actual prayer requests. But there are those times where they use it to maybe not so gently roast what you did in your service, song selection, volume, lighting, clothing. Why are you wearing that? Why you wear a hat? Why are your jeans ripped? All manner of feedback. And so we want to hear from you. You send these in and you might hear yours on a future episode of the podcast. And you can do that through our website, worshipleaderprobs.com. Just click on the prayer concerns tab and submit yours there. You'll always be anonymous. You can also DM those to us on the socials. So let's dive right in. Prayer concern number 1. We had a guy write a detailed Facebook post about his first experience at our church, including, quote, "The all-lady band sang some songs I know, but of course, much slower. We ladies are just slower, of course." That's what this person wrote. Detailed Facebook, little Facebook review of a visit to your church. Social media. Gotta love it, right? Gotta love it. Okay, number 2, prayer concern number 2. After a service, I had someone come up to me and say, "I enjoyed your singing today. Last week, your songs gave me bad vibes, so I'm glad you're doing better." What does that even mean? Your songs gave me bad vibes. I don't understand. I need more info. On that one. Okay, number 3, prayer concern number 3. A woman who is notoriously late for church every week critiqued my song choice in a leadership meeting, saying the songs were too slow and that we should do more upbeat songs. I responded politely that we usually did at least 2 upbeat songs at the beginning of every service. But what I really wanted to say was, how about you get to church on time? And let every worship and production leader say amen. Haven't you just wanted to clap back before? Like, if you get to church on time, you might hear some fast songs because we do them at the beginning when you're running in from the parking lot or standing in line for coffee or talking to your friends in the lobby. We're doing fast songs in the service. So get here on time. Okay? Okay, number 4, prayer concern number 4. Got a comment recently that says, you have a nice voice, but it's so loud we can hear it in the back. Okay, so isn't it like you're leading people in worship? So I don't think the goal is for people to not hear you. I mean, obviously you want to have it balanced, and volume is so subjective to every different congregation. But yeah, I mean, the goal is to hear what's going on, even in the back. I'm assuming that's the back of the sanctuary. Even if you're sitting in the back, you should be able to hear the worship leader. You should be able to hear the pastor. You're going to want them to hear it even in the back. Okay, here's the last one, the bottom of the pudding cup, prayer concern number 5. And it says, worship was good today. It almost sounded like real music. Well, here's the deal. It is real music. It almost sounded like real music. Well, fam, those are prayer concerns. We want to hear from you. Send yours in to us. You can use our website, worshipleaderprobs.com. Click on the prayer concerns tab. You can also DM those to us on any of the socials. But if you've been in ministry for 2 weeks, 5 minutes, you have heard a prayer concern. And we want to hear yours, and you might hear it on a future episode of the podcast. So send them in. Well, I had a pinch me moment recently. He's been on before, but it just never gets old with this guy. Such a special heart for the Lord, and literally every accolade you can possibly imagine, and including, I just want you to think about this: 50 number one hits. 50 number one hits, 17 million in record sales, 17 million records sold, 10 gold or platinum albums. And that's just all the kind of metric stuff. When you boil all down, this is a guy that absolutely loves Jesus. Absolutely loves Jesus. And so I hope you enjoy my conversation with the one and only Steven Curtis Chapman. Since 1988, New Life Ministries has offered compassionate and empowering solutions to those who find themselves in life's difficult places and who are missing what God desires for their lives. Family, friends, and churches want to help, but aren't always equipped to care for those dealing with problems like addiction, pornography, infidelity, anxiety, anger, fear, depression, and hurts from the past. Do you ever find yourself feeling anxious, fearful, angry, or even depressed in your everyday life or ministry? Or as a leader in your ministry, do you want to be better equipped to walk with those around you who are struggling? We're partnering with New Life Ministries to provide resources, help, and support for you in any season you face, so you are best equipped to serve and lead your ministry. Look for more info to come and click the link in our bio to discover more ways that New Life Ministries can help. Well, the Worship Probs podcast is thrilled to welcome back Mr. Steven Curtis Chapman. Hello there, sir.
Hello, Brian. Good to be back with you, and great to see you. Great to see a fellow Raven. Go Ravens.
Absolutely. Soar Ravens, soar. Anderson
That's
University. That's right.
That's right.
How's your summer been so far?
Great. It's been great. It's hot.
Tennessee
is cranking it up. Already got the heat, but it's been great. We have a little idea my wife came up with, which has been amazing, to when our grandkids turn 10 years old. So we have 7 of those now.
Word.
7 kids that call me Pop-Pops and my wife Grammy. And
love it.
Which is just crazy. How'd that happen? I'm supposed to still have kids that are 10 years old. Now I have kids of my kids. And we take them on a trip when they turn 10. They get to pick, a trip where they want to go, and we just take just them. Because when they're all together, all you're doing is wrangling and trying to feed everybody and clean up after everybody. It's crazy. So it's like, she had this great idea. What if we just take one of them at a time and take them on a trip? So we went snowboarding with our first one. I did not snowboard. I barely skied, but she wanted to learn to snowboard. So we took her to Colorado. We took one on a cruise, Disney cruise, and ended up going, in Orlando and doing parks and all of that. And then another one that wanted to go. So our third wanted to go to her thing she loves more than anything is soccer, football in Europe, and wanted to go see the Tottenham Hotspurs play a soccer game. Well, that meant going to London, England. I'm like, okay, we got to put some parameters on this. One was like, I want to go to the moon. Okay, well, because Grammy says, hey, we're going to make it happen. Call Elon Musk. Can we get a spot on one of those, whatever? No, that's not going to happen. I don't know Elon Musk. I can't call him. And anyway, we ended up going to take it. So this summer, so far, we've been to a soccer game. That was a very quick trip, but we'll go. If that's what you want to do, we'll find a way. Got to go watch a soccer game, and then just took our grandson Noble to he wanted to swim with sharks. Okay, I said, all right, definitely got to put parameters on this. So how about we go to Orlando? There's a great place called Discovery Cove where you can swim with sharks. Now, they're not going to eat you.
Yeah.
They're going to be small, and you get to kind of put your hand on them and go, I touched a shark. So we've been doing that. So it's been a wild, great adventure summer already.
Wow.
We just got back a couple of days ago, rode roller coasters, which at 62 is different than when I was 32.
Yeah.
And so I'm still a little wobbly, but it's been a great summer so far.
Man, that's awesome. Well, if you're looking for another like adopted grandkid, I will apply. I will apply for that. If Grammy can make some of my dreams come true, I would love that.
Hey, buddy, she can do it. I'm telling you, it's crazy what that woman can get done.
That's awesome. Well, so pumped to have you back on today. So much to talk about. You were with us. I can't believe it's been this long. Episode 193 back in August of 22.
Wow.
And we had an absolute blast. So honestly, just having you on is like a dream moment for me. And I was following along as you walked through what is just an absolutely unbelievable milestone. 50 number one singles. I mean, my goodness, what is it like to look back on that? That's like the rarest of air, man.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I mean, and those who know and have been around, the music, if you were to look at that right now, snapshot, to go, that's not even, you'd have to live, because now for a song to work its way up the charts and to make it to number one on the radio, that's at least a year process, or longer. Sometimes songs from when they release. So you'd have to go, okay, you'd have to have a 50-year-long career plus throw in a few extra years to make that happen. Like, how is that possible? But you have been around a little bit longer, not as long as me, but you will remember there was a time when songs would go up the charts very quickly and find their way to the top. And then another song could follow that up, 5-6 months later. Those days are no longer. And that's how something like that would happen. And just obviously an incredible relationship and very much favor from Christian radio and listeners to Christian radio over the years. We're probably talking at some point about the upcoming Speechless 25 tour.
Yes.
And, that album alone somehow had 7 songs that made it to the top of the charts on one album. That's unheard of now, just because you couldn't do that with the way music works and the way it all works now. But there was a time when that was possible. And I've just been very, very, very blessed and fortunate to have a lot of those songs connect with people in an amazing way. And again, very much support and love from Christian radio over the years. It's been amazing.
Yeah, well, it's been an incredible career. And perfect segue. It would be really difficult for me to pick a favorite Steven Curtis record, but Speechless would definitely be in the running, man. your songs are like a soundtrack for my faith journey, and that song, that whole record hit me like a sledgehammer, man. And
Wow.
so, yeah, you mentioned it. 7 number one hits: Speechless, Dive, Fingerprints of God, Be Still and Know, and others.
Yeah.
So you're hitting the road this fall to celebrate. I can't even believe it's possible that it's been 25 years
I know.
of this
Yeah.
incredible record. My wife and I saw that original tour in Anderson, Indiana, and you're coming back to Anderson, Indiana in
I
September.
know.
So what can you tell us about this tour?
Same theater, same place that I did the Speechless tour the first time in Anderson, and I'm only making 12 stops on this initial tour. Depending on how it goes and the reception to the idea has been amazing. That we probably will try to do some more in the spring and maybe carry this out a little more, because a lot of people are going, wait a minute, you can't just do 12 shows of that. You got to, what do you got to come to California? You got to come, to Florida.
Absolutely.
You got to get here and there. And then now people around the, even other countries are saying, are you going to bring that to, to here and there? So who knows where we'll be able to go. But the fact that I know we're going to do 12, and one of those is going to be Anderson, Indiana. That's very, very cool, because it's where Mary Beth and I met. It's where so much of my journey began. I mean, it's where Bill Gaither took me under his wing, and Gloria, and said, we think this guy's got something to share with the world. So we're going to give him our platform and publish some of his songs and kind of put that wind in his sails. And so much of that started there. And what a cool place to come back 25 years later to celebrate the Speechless album specifically, which, of all the albums that I would take and do the full album in concert, I've never done that. I've seen other artists do it. Huey Lewis and the News did their sports album 25-year anniversary. And that was one of my favorite concerts ever, because I love that album. I saw the Eagles do the Hotel California, anniversary concert where they did the whole album. And so if there was ever an album, I felt like Speechless would be the one. That album was very, very special. The songs, again, so many that, that radio played, but just, that was the first album I used my touring band, the guys that I'd been on the road with, took them in the studio. I feel like the music just kind of feels that you feel how special it is, the way those songs came together. I don't know. I was young and foolish, because I'm going back now and having to relearn some of the guitar parts. I'm like, who wrote these songs? Goodness, next 5 minutes. I mean, the bridge of that song is like, I'm going, wow. I had a lot of energy, and when I was, whatever I was, 35 years old or whatever, when I made that record, I'm like, this is crazy. But fun and going to be amazing. And so I actually reached out to a lot of the guys who were in the original band, and many of them are off doing different things, or some not even still doing music or touring. But I was able to get Randy Pierce, who's a guitar player on the original, to come be in the tour, be on the tour with me. I was able to get Brent Milligan, who's been with me for many, many years. He wasn't on that tour, but he's been playing music with me for a lot of years, producing my records and very involved. So thankful to have those guys. But I'm also going to get to have some string players. That album, one of the things about it had these amazing orchestrations that we did at Abbey Road Studios in London, England. I mean, just the things I've gotten to do is crazy. And so I thought, well, I got to try to create some of that. I'm not going to be able to take a 30, 40, 50 piece orchestra with me, but could I take a small section, of strings and just recreate some of that in a cool way? And so, I haven't toured with a full band and anything like this. Well, maybe ever. I've not ever taken a small string section. So trying to just, make it as special, recreate as much of that music as I can, and just the moments of what made that moment in my musical faith journey and faith journey so special. And obviously there'll be some other songs. We'll mix in some other songs from the years, but really with a focus on that music and that album, which was so special to me and to a lot of others as well.
To countless others, man. And I'm among them. It was just unbelievable. And I just want to say something. Maybe you do, and I just don't see it. You don't get enough credit as a player. You get amazing credit and well-deserved as a songwriter, a vocalist, all that stuff. But as a player, man, we saw your Christmas tour in Nashville, Indiana. I don't know if this was last year or the year before, but I'm just out there going, man, dude is still just out there breaking it down as a player, man. And you are really a good guitar player.
Thank you. Well, that's where I started. My focus as a kid was to be the best guitar player I could be. My dad's an amazing guitar player, was a kind of dabbled in songwriting and was an artist and kind of pursuing music. Actually wanted to be a Grand Ole Opry star, which is kind of cool how all of that story has unfolded in the last few months. But my thing was guitar, because my dad was a great singer. My brother was a great singer. I was not the singer as a kid. I was the background guy. I learned all the harmony parts and all the background parts. But my thing was, I'm going to dig in and be the best guitar player that I can be. And that'll be kind of what I bring to the party. And it wasn't until I got, in high school, I started writing songs again, because that was how I sort of found my voice, was through the songs that I would write. But with the guitar being kind of still my main thing. So I love, over the years that I've had the opportunity to kind of, dig into that more and write songs that kind of, I could just play chords, but let's make this more interesting. I'm going to get kind of crazy and do some things. And then I have to relearn it, years later when it's time to go on tour and go, wow, can the guy that wrote that teach me how to do this? Because I don't think I remember how this goes, but it's all coming back somewhere. It's just way back there somewhere in the cobwebs. It's like, I got to pull it out.
Yeah, incredible. Well, you mentioned the Grand Ole Opry. Since you were with us last, you received another honor, another first, the first Christian artist in history to be inducted as a member of the Grand Ole Opry. So what's it feel like for, maybe people who aren't from your specific part of the music industry to recognize you in that way?
Yeah. Well, it started, my musical journey, career, really started in the Grand Ole Opry, kind of that holy ground, as it were, because there used to be a place called Opryland, USA, which was an amusement park that anybody ever came to Nashville knew about that place. And it was built just outside the doors of the Grand Ole Opry. Kind of the Opry was right in the middle of it, and all around it was this really cool amusement park, sort of theme park, but very musically focused. And I got a job out of high school. My first professional gig playing music was singing in a country music show at Opryland. And occasionally they would invite kids to come play on the big stage at the Grand Ole Opry. And I got that invitation when I was 18 years old to come sing a song on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry. Roy Acuff would introduce me. I'd walk out on stage. It was mind blowing coming from a family who, my dad loved the Grand Ole Opry. That was his dream, to someday be on that stage. So for me to get to do that, as a kid, was just amazing, overwhelming, so overwhelming, in fact, that I forgot the words to the song that I was singing on the Grand Ole Opry. He Stopped Loving Her Today, which is like the national anthem of country music in the 1980s. And I forget the words. It's literally like forget the words to the national anthem. And I'm going, well, that was a short career. It started and ended in about 30 seconds. Somehow I got through it and made it through, and it, became part of my story. But I would get to go back, over the years and perform on that stage. But it was that summer at Opryland and singing on the Grand Ole Opry that I met a guy who went to this school called Anderson College in Anderson, Indiana, that I'd never even heard of. And he heard some songs I had written. I sat down and played on the piano and grabbed a guitar and played him some songs. And he said, those are pretty good. Could you make me a cassette tape of those songs? I want to take them back to a friend of mine that I think he might be interested in hearing these songs. I was like, sure, that's great. Put them on a tape, sent them off to Danny Daniels in Anderson, Indiana.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Who would play the songs for Bill Gaither, his friend. Yeah. And that's how I would end up getting a publishing deal and getting a chance to make a record and another record and all of that. So it all kind of started at the Grand Ole Opry and Opryland and all of that. So to come back all these years later and have it wrap around full circle in November of 2024, just past November, I was invited to be the newest member and inducted into the family of the Grand Ole Opry. And my dad is still alive. He was there. My mom, she came out on stage. We sang together on the stage of the Grand Ole Opry. And it was just another one of many, many what I call taste and see the Lord is good moments that I've experienced in these, 38 years now of making music and doing what I've been doing.
Wow. Well, congratulations. Well deserved.
Thanks.
And
thank you.
Man, I can see some of the flavor of that in your, like those Deep Roots records, man. Those are some of my favorite. Love. Those are great for road trips, man. I'm just driving and that Life is Like a Mountain Railway song.
Mountain Railroad.
I love that. Yeah, I love all of it.
Oh, thank you. I love those. I love that music too. It's just, it's kind of what's in my soul. It's the first memories I have as a kid. We're hearing my dad play bluegrass music with his buddies, banjos and upright bass and fiddles and dobros and all those instruments that just kind of feel like home. So I'm so thankful I got to make those records.
Man, that's very cool. Well, if you're listening, we're going to get to the big room question here in a second, but make sure you go follow Steven Curtis Chapman on the socials and grab your tickets to the Speechless 25 tour. It's starting in September, and let's make sure these are not the only 12 shows for the Speechless 25 tour, because that's a very, very special record. Okay, so Steven, you answered this before. We end every conversation with this question. We call it the big room question. If we were to gather all the worship leaders and all their volunteers and all the tech and production folks and all their volunteers, got them all together in one big room, and we gave you a microphone, what would you want to share with them about what we do in the local church?
Well, I would start off probably today saying it's never been more needed, and yet I can only imagine, not being specifically in local church ministry week in and week out. I can only imagine it's in some ways never been more challenging, more difficult. A world that is suspicious and cynical, church, just the life of church and post pandemic and everything that's gone on that has, I know, created incredible challenges. But as we all know, it's in these times that the hope of the gospel, the truth, we've never been more desperate for it.
Amen.
And therefore the opportunity has never been greater for God to just show up in our gatherings. When two or more gather, he is still as faithful as he ever was to meet with us and be there and make his presence known and give us the wisdom that we need and the clarity that we need. And I know there's never been more, dissension and all of that, even in our faith communities, and division. But what brings us together? What are the things that we can agree on? And worship does that like nothing else can. And so I think for that reason, I would just say it's never been more needed, more important. We've never been more desperate for it as a nation, as a world. And God's never been more on the throne. He's never been more in control. He is
Amen.
as in control, as good, as faithful as he's ever been. And so that's if we just become, it's as cliche as it is, it's still for me, what's the best way to be the greatest worship leader is going to be to just be the lead worshiper, to be the one who just keeps being uh, amazed, in awe of the goodness of God, the grace of God, embracing the mystery wherever it's taking us, saying, God, I know this is way more than I can get my hands around. I can't comprehend it, but I just want to keep throwing myself into the wonder of who you are and the mystery of who you are, and let that be where this comes from, more than how do I write the greatest worship song, or how do I do this, better than it's ever been done. It's just, God, I got to start from, but yeah, let's get creative. Let's be the best craftsman, the best, but it has to always just start at a place of being humble and in awe of and turning back and over again to just the goodness of God and his faithfulness and his grace for us and his love for us.
Amen. Amen. Man, I just can't thank you enough just for your faithfulness, your obedience, for all the unbelievable songs, man. And I'm this is not like a shtick that I say to like literally. I can track when we were making big decisions, Kim and I, and we were listening to this Steven Curtis song, or when we were, walking through a tough season and we were listening to this Steven Curtis song. So I just thank you for all the songs. Thank you for, I can only, we see the highlights, but I'm sure there's lots of unbelievably hard work and long hours and late nights and all the stuff to bring these songs into the world. So I just want to say thank you on behalf of believers all over the world.
Thanks, Brian.
Yeah. And guys, make sure you go follow Steven Curtis Chapman on the socials. Grab your tickets to the Speechless 25 tour. Maybe you see me at that Anderson, Indiana show, man.
Come on.
We want to get
you
there. Yeah, they'll be on sale. They're on sale now, and that tour starts in September. So, Steven, thanks, man. Thanks for what you're a gift to the kingdom, and we're all grateful for you.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Bless you.
Man, I am such a fan. Just of his heart, of his ministry, of the songs, man. My goodness, the songs. So many incredible songs. So thank you so much for listening. I'm gonna do everything I can to get to that Speechless 25 tour. I promise you that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Guys, I love that you hang out with us every week. So glad that you listened today. Remember to subscribe wherever you listen, and please do me a favor, jump over to Apple Podcasts, leave us 5 stars and a nice review. That's a huge help in just getting the word about the podcast out. We believe it adds value to people's lives and ministries, and we really are grateful for your help in that. Thanks for following us on the socials at Worship Probs on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Threads, and especially YouTube. Here in 2025, our friend Luke is throwing full video episodes of the podcast up on our YouTube channel each week, so you can watch the whole episode. So I hope you watch this one with Steven Curtis Chapman. I hope you watch every week, and I do hope you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And love to have you follow us on TikTok at Worship Leader Probs, and join our Worship Probs community group over on Facebook. Answer the 3 questions, and we'd love to have you over there. Leaders Helping Leaders. That's really a unique account for us. It's different than our other social accounts. And over on X, you can look for the hashtag Worship Leader Probs. Guys, our friends at Maven Media Productions are just the best in the business. They're incredible people. They love the Lord, and they're church people. They get what you're trying to do. So if your church needs a website, or maybe you have a ministry on the side that needs a website, or you need a logo, or you need somebody to consult with you, somebody to help you dial in your social media, how to design it, when to post, all that kind of stuff. Or maybe your church needs some help with that. Head over to mavenmediaproductions.com. Tell them I sent you. They will do an amazing job for you. I can promise you that. There's also a link in our bio for Maven. And thanks to Scott Hoke for our intro. Guys, I love you so much. Thank you for tuning in every week and spending some time with me here on episode 343. Until next time, deuces.